Hello, hello, hello. Are we finally solving the technological difficulties that always exist?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, we're good. Sorry about the delay, everyone. Had some technological difficulties here. I'm going to be Primus alongside my compatriot here. Sit straight, 4 years block, 2 action of Overdrive League. We have Out of Mana taking on Rawr. How we doing tonight, Sit straight?
So I'm pretty hyped. First off, right off the bat, I just want to talk about this Rek'Sai pick. I actually had to prep out some band strats, and Rek'Sai was pretty high at the top of that when you look at this OPGG. Now, get over it, noob. You're not wrong to say, hey, it's a Nocturne GG. Now, Nocturne is one of the top picks of the patch throughout every region, and I am so excited to see 2 junglers who just want to jump on each other and fight.
Yeah, definitely a very high skirmishing priority. Both of these junglers. Looking at what else are coming in here, we're seeing 2 of the top 80 carries in terms of priorities. I know it's pretty much a meme right now, but Lucian and Kai'Sa are one of the top, are 2 of the 80 carries that we still see getting picked down in that bottom lane because they're not crit reliant 80 carries. Lucian, we generally see things like either Bork into Black Cleaver or Estus Reaver into Black Cleaver, while Kai'Sa is primarily going towards the AP build, which he goes Rage Blade into Nashor's Tooth, which is why those 2 champions are still viable in the meta.
Now, I'm actually a bit surprised here that Braum gets picked up and makes it through the draft, especially through the second rotation. For one thing, I think Braum would have been a better pick than Rek'Sai on the red side, but for another, definitely would have been a better pick than LeBlanc. Given Braum's synergy with both Kai'Sa and Lucian and them being the only 2 ADCs of the patch in, like, the meme world, but still, really, they're the only 2 ADPs of the patch. The Shen lock-in, though, is really nice as well. I think this protection is going to be enough for either the Nocturne or the Lucian. Lucian late game and Nocturne early game. He kind of acts as a delivery system for the Shen, and it can be devastating.
Yeah, the only real concern for the side of Out of Mana is they really lack any consistent form of wave clear on their composition here. LeBlanc and Lucian, not typically well known for their wave clear. However, the Dr. Mundo pick coming in for Drex up in the top lane is such a powerful pick currently on this patch that it's extremely difficult to deal with. But we see Spooder1 picking up the Darius up in that top lane to try to put Mundo as far behind as possible. Probably going to look to see Remzi on the Rek'Sai cut up to that top lane pre-level 6 for that Mundo as much as possible to get the Darius ahead, because the thing is once Mundo hits 6, it's so difficult to actually secure kills on it.
Now, the only issue here with the Mundo and his priority in this game given here is, I think I'll just quote, I believe it's Papa Smithy said this in the BBQ game earlier today, where it's a Mundo's wet dream that he can just throw cleavers into these, bruisers who want to be right up in front of him. And that's really exactly what Mundo wants to do. The issue is when you look at the draft coming out of, is this Rawr?
Rawr's on the red side and Out of
so
Mana.
when you look at the draft coming out of Rawr, so I don't know who the teams are. I just know Spooder's on Rawr, I was pretty sure. But yeah, when you look at the draft coming through for them, Darius and Rek'Sai seem to be the only 2 who might end up being targets for the Mundo, and even then Rek'Sai really isn't. So they haven't exactly drafted that composition, which allows the Mundo to strive so strong in this meta.
However, my only counterpoint to that is the only person on the side of Rawr who can actually effectively kill the Mundo, like, reliably, is going to be Tajiro on the Kai'Sa. Because Darius needs to get multiple stacks built up on his passive in order to get that massive true damage ulti in order to execute the Mundo. Orianna's not really renowned for tank killing. Rek'Sai not really renowned for tank killing. It's really going to be up to the Kai'Sa in most scenarios to really try to kill the Mundo. And if she's not able to do so, this Mundo is going to run wild, regardless of the fact it's not really the typical composition that we see Mundo succeed in.
It'll definitely be a skill matchup. As far as the Mundo's concerned, the Darius will be able to chip away at him with his true damage as long as someone's building a Morellonomicon or an Executioner's Calling. And this should be kind of communicated by Spooder Juan onto his team, right? He should be saying things like, yo, this Mundo is getting a CS lead on me. We're probably going to need an Executioner Calling sooner rather than later. But some teammates are afraid of that, and I can see that hurting them. But it's definitely going to be all up to Spooder to control the Mundo, and it's a different type of top lane matchup, I think is the way to put that.
Yeah, it's very much favored towards the side of the Darius. Mundo does always have the fallback pattern of just sitting at max range and throwing cleavers. It does hurt his ability to reliably terms of CS, but he does always have that as a fallback pattern. And
Well,
in
the health
mid-
loss. Like, damn, you throw cleavers for every CS you try to pick up, you're going to be out of health by the 4th wave.
Yeah, but you do also get a lot of HP back.
Yeah, you definitely do for the yawn hit. I'll be really excited to see the top lane matchup. It depends how much excitement we get up there, because we definitely see times where these tanks just get up into the top lane and they don't want to fight each other, even though we have the Mundo and the Darius that, like, you'd think they want to be on top of each other the whole time, just too afraid to fight.
Well, it's not. It's more the Mundo more than anything. Like, Darius is always up for a scrap up in that top lane. It's more of Mundo really wants to try to get some levels under his belt, get to that level 6, because that's when he really has that buffer and safety zone to really operate. It is always risky into the Darius, as we mentioned, the amount of true damage that comes out of him up in that top lane, as we're going to be cranking out the spectator delay and getting onto the Rift momentarily here. I do have to ask you, Sid, who do you favor going into the game here? Do you favor Out of Mana, which is on the blue, favor Rawr in terms of team composition?
So that's a loaded question when you end it there in terms of team composition, because it's like you want me to say mean things about somebody. This is the best way I could put this. I think that Out of Mana has outdrafted Rawr. I really do. Just off of face value, they can execute on their composition, and Rawr needs to react, is kind of the way that I see it. And that's never the position you want to be in. The issue is, I think Rawr is going to react right. I think Out of Mana is going to make macro mistakes, given that they're a newer team into the league that probably hasn't gained up their synergy much. And I think Rawr will just end up taking this on virtue of having been together for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the game plays out. Like, I wasn't trying to get you to say one team failed at the draft or anything. I just kind of wanted your honest opinion.
Oh, it always means one team failed. Now, also,
one team just did a better job than the other. Like, that's
totally fair to say. Doki's a little upset in the chat because his team's not got his banners up there. But he also couldn't figure out that his team was the one to ban Zach and Sejuani, so I don't know how much he gets to have the claim there.
Yeah, the amount of bans towards the tank junglers was a little bit suspicious coming in, because it's just like, especially in these lower elo in terms of brackets, you really see a lot more tank junglers, as we're going to see a 5-man stack coming in from the side of Out of Mana. Could try to make a play here, though it is always risky trying to make a play into a team which has a Braum at the level 1, but they do have Shen, which does have the flash taunt. They're going to go for, and they're going to put the ward down. Cleaver is going to land. Silent Blue Jeff is going to be little late on the taunt, but does force the flash out of Nezumi.
So now that flash is big. We're really going to want to track this. Let's not forget that this is the Braum, right? Braum's flash forward Q is going to slow and then allow the target to be stunned in 3 hits. Braum can flash forward to get his W so he can E. Braum can also just flash to get an E range if his W's down. Like, Braum's flash is something that keeps Kai'Sa alive more often than not, or ends up converting into a kill. And losing it right there is, we're going to see an impact. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, it's going to be more pronounced if the fact that Dookie and Silent Blue Death are able to get to this bot lane early and shove in order to get that early priority on that level 2 and look to set up an all-in with the taunt and the amount of damage coming out of the Lucian at the level 2. That's going to be kind of the crux point, because I don't find it terribly likely that we're going to see a very early game coming out of a Nocturne. Not that it's not possible.
I'm actually a Nocturne meme. It definitely happens, but it's normally a mistake of the other team when that happens. I tend to describe it as seeing the other team in a position where they're acting like I don't have a jungler, and that's the only time you can really dive in on a Nocturne and just, like, out of virtue of your E, get a gank off. But on this name over here, Silent Blue Death, well, we want to interpret what this is, because I think it's the ocean. I think they're drowning.
I would have to go with that. I actually know him through other casting experience. Because I cast for Compete League, he's been a long player of Compete League, even though his team no longer participates in Compete League.
No one participates in Compete League right now.
This is also true. But we've been around for quite a while, and it's kind of a meme with Out of Mana because they're sometimes a little salty, hence their name of CL sucks. But we're not going to spend any more time talking about that. We're getting a little bit of trade in the mid lane, but Omega Squad Fitz burning a lot of mana, gets a fair bit of a trade off onto Heartshaker, as we are going to see a gank in the top lane.
So that's
Math is only
knockdown.
level 2. Is going to burn the flash of Spooter Juan, though. So overall, a successful gank coming in from the Nocturne.
Yeah, that's really smart of him. If Nocturne actually wants to do that in the future, what you do is you take 2 of the wolves, and you can get your level 3 by the time you get that gank off. Because Darius showed really early what he was going to do to this Mundo if you watch the wave. But, like, I don't know, it's those little things. But we're going to get the gank on now.
Yeah, we do have Ramsey coming over the wall. Is going to get the knockup onto Drax. Does burn the flash immediately. So essentially, either of these top laners get ganked anytime in the near future, they're probably dying, with neither of them having flash available until about the 8-minute 30-second mark.
Yeah, speaking of flashes, Braum is a little over halfway done on that cooldown on his. Still haven't seen it become impactful, but I'm really hoping to see Lucian continue this poke and shove on them where you just know you're never going to be able to stop something.
Yeah, but despite the fact that they do have the push priority, he is falling a little bit behind in terms of CS, which is a bit concerning because you really want to keep that tempo advantage and deny the enemy laner CS rather than you yourself falling behind. It is still early on in the lane here, and I think...
Oh, he just missed a cannon because of the Shen.
Rip.
And that's another miss. My God.
Omega Squad Fish blows the last of his mana pool, trying to get a trade off onto Heartshaker. Heartshaker should be able to zone him off and force him into an early back here. A little bit questionable play coming in from Omega Squad Fizz, trying to continue to force these plays in this mid lane, despite the fact he has such low mana. But Drax is staying extremely low on HP. They're easily setting up for a potential dive.
Ooh. So Rek'Sai is roaming to the top side now. Mundo's been really greedy, deciding to wait for his level 6 before he TPs, but he looks like he's going to back and TP anyway because he's been hurt enough. But this actually allowed Rek'Sai into the jungle. I mean, she doesn't get anything, but eventually this is going to become costly when the mid and top lane are being shoved in.
Yeah, it really cedes tempo advantage for the side of Ramsey. He's able to control the pace of the game in terms of the top half of the map, because considering we're getting close to that second buff respawn, considering the path that Coach Maths take, which is buff to buff into Scuttle, you're going to have that blue buff available around the 7:30, 7:45 mark. We can easily see him set up, that is Ramsey, set up for a blue buff invade, considering both his mid lane and top lane are going to have push priority for the foreseeable future. And I think Silent Blue Jeff should be playing far more aggressively.
Definitely on the Shen. I mean, just going in for the taunt isn't what is meant by aggressive, but it looks like we do get the fight.
Yeah, we do get a fair bit of a trade. Q is going to land. Luduki is going to have to flash away. Silent Blue Death is going to get stunned up. Ramsey is coming in on the flank. He's trying to get away. Flash, knock up, exhaust onto Silent Blue Death. Getting first blood with the Q coming in from those. However, Coach Math is here trying to do what he can, trying to get the kill. However, it's not able to secure the kill onto Trigger. Getting knocked up. Stun is getting bursted down by the bite coming in from Ramsey. That's a 2 for 0. Nice sidestep from Dookie. That W coming in from Kaisa might have been enough damage to kill, but a little bit of a misplay coming in from the bot lane of
So while that was all going on, what we got was a little sight of the mid lane there. And it looks like LeBlanc is 1 AP item away from being able to efficiently bully out the Orianna and kill her, which is a really important spike for her. She's now dealing somewhere around like a quarter of her HP with her QW combo, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah,
right there
is going to land the chain.
And that's calculated, but not right.
Yeah, got a little too close to the tower. Needed one more Q coming off cooldown in order to secure that kill. But it is going to force a base out of the Orianna, which gives a favorable base timing for Squad, which means he can get closer to what I assume is going to be a first side in Luden's Echo coming in. It could still be that Hextech Gunblade that did rise to prominence a couple patches ago. It just kind of depends on the build path he wants to go for on this LeBlanc.
So now this is a big Scuttle Crab here for Nocturne. This is going to be his level 6 right here. Picking this up is crucial. I'm not saying he won't. It looks like everything points to, like, you know, if I was a Magic 8-Ball and I shook it, it'd say all signs point to yes. The real question is, does he get this gank off bot? And it looks like they're going to get the TP out or the recall just in time.
Yeah, that he's not quite able to immediately transition to that. If I was Coach Maths on this Nocturne, I would definitely look to try to set up a play in the mid lane because the Orianna still does not have flash available. You've been seeing Omega going in so aggressively on this LeBlanc, so you should really try to play around that in order to facilitate LeBlanc getting off the Gen, as you are going to see a dive in the top lane. Scooter's eating a lot of damage, however, there's a lot of damage going. Flash ult's not going to be enough damage, however, the Rek'Sai ultimate is going to be enough to secure the kill on the backside, but we do have the Paranoia pop going in onto Renzi, misses the Q, the Fear is going to come in, is going to allow him to chase down and secure the 1-for-1 trade in the end.
A little disappointed that LeBlanc doesn't follow all the way up there. I wanted to play Whack-A-Mole and see which bush she chose. Smart, though, to take the safe way back to lane. But while that's happening, the bot lane's getting shoved in, and Kai'Sa's going to get some healthy tower damage, having finally finished her recursive bow and her pickaxe.
Yeah, still sitting at about 1,000 gold needed. Omega Squad is going to prop his electrocute, but giving up CS under tower, I don't know if that trade was actually worth it in the long run. But we'll have to wait and see. Kai'Sa needs about 1,000 gold before she completes her item. And I think Dookie is rushing Essence Reaver here, which I'm not the biggest of fan of, just because I think Blade of the Ruin King is just much more consistent in terms of a starting item. But Essence Reaver is still quite a strong item on Lucian. Can't deny that.
No, I definitely agree. You take Blade of the Ruin King when there's a Braum in the lane, just because you have a tank that you're going to be able to use those stats on, right?
And Silent Blue Death is going to get immediately bursted out by Chijaru and Nezumi. Culling just goes into the wall, unfortunately. Coach Matt's a little bit late here to try to keep his support alive. And Nezumi and Chijaru are really controlling the pace of this lane.
Definitely controlling the pace here. The CS, though, is what we're definitely going to be paying attention to. Right now, the lead's been pretty exploded by Rawr. But the CS is definitely helping them out a bit. They're up by nearly 10 in every lane. That's going to be the low.
Coming in on the bottom lane. Nice two-man taunt. Can they secure the damage? No, the exhaust comes out, keeping Chijaru alive. We have another dive up in the top side of the map. As on the bottom side, Little Dookie does fall. So Shen ult being burned to little effectiveness. And that's really not what you want to be seeing out of the Shen pick, who really needs that first ultimate to come through clutch.
Yeah, especially having waited that long and not using it in conjunction with the Nocturne ultimate, which is up in, I can't actually see the cooldown, but it looks something like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
definitely that's the synergy you want to use. I don't know. It's a comp that my team actually plays. Not that any of you should ban that against the Red Tide, like, I don't know, Coach Steve when we played against Royal Wolves in 30 minutes. But
please, senpais.
Yo, I'm sorry. We're 0-3 and I still gotta throw out shade. I got a problem.
Hey, I've been in coaching shoes before. I've been in players' shoes before. I've thrown more checks than my butt can cash, so I know exactly what you're going through here. But not all is lost. 4 out of mana. You do have a fair bit of farm onto Little Dookie. Mega Squad's doing decently well in the middle lane. The Mundo, while off to a struggle start, is still a Mundo, does still have a lot of potential available. You have the Nocturne ulti to try to facilitate playmaking, but this Kai'Sa is steadily getting out of control.
This Drake fight's about to be really interesting here with the Ward in the pit and Nocturne having just taken half his health and damage just to the Drake alone.
Yes, we are going to have a force off onto the bot lane of from Nezumi and Steer. Excuse me. As we're having a little bit of a trade up in the top lane, trying to make sure neither of these Spoot or Juan does have a teleport available. And Drex obviously cannot
has no
stop it.
CC, yeah.
Yeah, and Drex can do absolutely nothing to stop it. And Spoot or Juan is going to go in, has the Conqueror, should be able to get lethal here off the ulti, but doesn't actually able to get into range, unfortunately, here. So Drex going to heal back up, getting back up to roughly around 60% HP up in that top lane, allowing him to stick around. But one more rotation coming on Scooter should probably be a kill. And that's a dead mid laner. Feels bad, but unfortunately the tempo advantage that Omega Star was able to get out early has started swinging in the favor of the Orianna.
Is the darkness coming?
Yeah,
Where's my nightmare?
Unfortunately, Mavs decided that going into a 2-0 and 2 Kai'Sa was a bad idea.
Man, it's not like she deals damage to people that are really close to her.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
yeah, that's actually going to be the tower.
Yeah, that's 100% going to be first Tower Blood going over to the side of Rawr. Should be a very easy transition into that Ocean Drake as well. Not the ideal timing on that Ocean Drake. I kind of say the ideal timing on that is like pre-12 minutes or so. Because outside, once you get past that point in the game, you're not getting maximum effectiveness out of it unless you're in a siege scenario. Ooh, we are going to have a little bit of play. Ramsey getting burst onto Coach Mass, but is not able to finish off the kill. Jajaro coming in with the killer instinct. Shen ultimate coming in, trying to buy more time for Coach Mass, but no, it is not enough. Dookie flashing forward, trying to get on Jajaro. Dude is going to be able to secure the kill. So much damage going in onto Ramsey. Science Blue Death trying to do what he can, but is not able to go through the CDC. We do have a Mega Squad rotating down, is not able to get into range for more damage. Little Dookie does not have the low, so he dashes forward, but the knockup and burst from Ramsey is able to secure the kill back. Rek'Sai is a little bit scary.
Yeah, you have to know this Rek'Sai is scary. One look at the OPGG and you know. They know something about Rek'Sai that I don't.
Well, he also has a full Tiamat.
Yeah, it definitely helps a bit, especially with that warrior enchantment. Now building a phage too. Although notice, kids, he's picking up a control ward.
Yes, control wards win games, 100% confirmed. If you don't believe me, just ask LCS people. They'll always tell you control wards are the most important, unless you're break shit. Just kidding. But right now, currently at the status of the game, we have Rawr up to about a 5,500 gold lead. They're getting very close to forcing both the top and mid lane towers down. Should be looking to secure that probably within the next 3 minutes or so. We have Rift Herald on the table. I would like to see Ramsey make his way over, secure that, just to keep his team on the front foot in terms of tempo advantage, because right now his team is extremely strong.
Yeah, definitely extremely strong. Right now, the CS alone is going to be damning, but when you put a tower and kills on top of that... Sorry, we're getting engaged from Nocturne.
Yeah, Coach Maps going in with the Paranoia is able to finish off a kill with the help of Drexcept in that top lane, but that is at the cost of the aforementioned Ocean Drake. Took a little bit longer for them to start that up here, but do get a little bit of gold back onto Drex, allowing him to get back into the game.
What?
The culling is going to clear about half that wave out, but it's not going to be enough, as the tier 1 in mid is still going to fall for Rawr, and it's up to a 6,000 gold lead for them coming in. We have Scooter TPing up back up into that top lane. We're probably going to see a rotation for that Rift Herald here, but it looks like they're trying to seal away the blue buff.
That control ward, that's unfortunate. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta place those better, kids.
That's a 10 out of 10 control ward placement right there. 10 out of 10. Ooh, but we do have an engage coming in. Nice! Glacial Fisher coming inside Blue Death. Immediately bursted down. Drex coming in with the teleport. Does not have Masochism available. He's a very, very squishy Mundo. There's too much damage coming in. 5-stack coming in from Spooter, getting the kill on the backside. Meta Squad Fence getting stunned up by the concussive bulls. Has to flash out, but there's just too much damage. Double kill over to Spooter. And another kill going over to Jaro on the backside out of a Killer Instinct. That should be a play for Herald or top tower.
Yeah, so it seems like this is always starting off with a Braum Glacial Fisher, and then all hell just breaks loose, and Rawr does exactly what their comp is designed for. I'm not exactly sure what the counterplay is here if you're out of mana, except for to try to blow the Glacial Fizzler early by engaging on whoever Braum's protecting. But I just have this feeling that Nazumi's going to stay on point and just use those for the primary engage.
Well, my bigger concern is the fact that we have an on-hit Nocturne coming in. That's my bigger concern at the moment.
Yeah, you don't build that. You also don't press the attack, actually. It's Electrocute or Lethal Tempo.
Yeah, most professional junglers go for that Lethal Tempo just because you're using that to help stick to your target and finish off the kill after you alt Q onto them. So that's the primary reason that we are seeing that come through. Plus the fact that your Q actually gives you a bunch of passive AD for sitting on the trail.
Yeah, and they've upped it by like 10 in the last couple of patches. It's been pretty ridiculous the way they've been just buffing Nocturne repeatedly.
Yeah, I think it's, once it's max rank, it's like 60, 80 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. It's like a full BF sword, essentially, when you get it. The only issue I have with going Lethal Tempo is it's not good for solo queue. It's only really good in the team environment where you have a Shen or a Galio, something to protect the Nocturne when he dives in. Because what's so crucial is if Nocturne doesn't have that, he has to just like dive on and kill people because no one's going to save him. But we have a fight again.
Yeah, we are going to have engage onto Little Dookie. Drex is sitting in the middle of the team, trying to be that big beefy tank, but there's too much damage coming in from Tajaro on the backside. Spooter getting another kill with the ultimate. Double kill over Tajaro. Knockup's going to land onto Dookie. Unfortunately, Dookie gets another gray screen in this game as another clutch ultimate comes in from Nezumi. We're going to see the Rift Tower getting dropped into the mid lane. This could potentially be the base being broken for Out of Mana.
Yeah, at this point, Out of Mana must be confused and think that they like reworked the Rift or something into a black and white map because they haven't seen the game in color in a while.
Not really anyone on their team's been seeing the game in color very much this game. Let's be perfectly honest here.
Well, we're back up and everyone's seeing in color one more time. We'll see if their fight after this inhibitor changes that.
Unfortunately,
and it looks like Shelly won't dance. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shelly does not get to dance, but that is an inhibitor down at 1940 for the side of Rawr, and this has just been a very, very well-played game coming in from the side of Rawr, from pretty much top to bottom. They had the tempo advantage from laning phase in that. Outside of mid lane had a couple scary moments early on, but outside of that, it's been pretty much tempo advantage favoring Rawr as Coach Mass is out of position, eating so much damage. Taunt does come in, but unfortunately, Silent Blue Death gets the guillotine coming in on the backside, and Chijaro secures the kill with the killer instinct on the backside.
Yeah, it's well, first off, shout out to the scoreline, 420 to all my smokers out there. That's what I'm really here for. I pay attention to the important shit going on. Actually, what's the next Drake? Do we know here? Yeah, so it's another Ocean Drake. This is where your comments on the Ocean Drake start to wane away as you go from 4% of your missing health and mana to 8 all the way up until, I believe it's 14, right?
Last rank is 12%.
12%, yeah. So just it increases by 4% every time, really easy. But that gets really big really quickly. Once you reach 8, that's sustained where LeBlanc has to burst you out twice now, where previously she had to do it once, and then her team could have came in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I was speaking primarily towards just a single Ocean Drake, but you are right. Once you get that second Ocean Drake, it does make things a lot easier as you get to see the PvE environment in the mid lane from Omega and Silent Blue Death. And unfortunately, I think the minions are currently winning that PvE. Drex is going to be Pop the Masochism, is going to be able to run away here, but can complete Visor Control in the blue jungle and around Baron coming in from Rawr, and they could honestly start that at any time.
Yeah, especially with Baron not dealing as much damage as it used to. I think this is something that a lot of teams are faltering on, and people in solo queue, where they're just not aware of how weak Baron actually is right now in terms of damage dealt. Like, it's hard to kill. He's tanky, but not much else. This will definitely be picked, and if not the next patch, the patch after that. So, like, I'd abuse that if I were you by now. And it looks like they are.
Yeah, we are going to have the Paranoia come in, but it is rather early. Baron's still around 5k HP. He's just going to get immediately bursted down.
I'm sorry, Coach Math is speeding. That's the second time he's used the ultimate without diving in. This is
well, speaking of diving in, Chijaro has no issues doing so, securing a double kill on the back side of that. That should be the end of the game here momentarily. They have super minions in the base, and I don't think there is enough wave clear for Out of Mana. We already have one Nexus turret down, as it's going to be about a 23-minute game coming in from the side of Rawr, and GG's coming out from both teams.
Damn, nice job by the Orianna to tank up that laser at the end, too. Got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, I had to boost those damage taken stacks so his top laner doesn't feel so bad for taking so much damage. I'm just kidding here, but
Exactly.
but all in all, a very well played and very solid performance coming in from the side of Rawr. There really wasn't any massive miscues from pretty much anyone on the team, other than maybe just a couple times where they got caught out. But they played their champions very well. They played around the initiations coming in from Nezumi, who was on point multiple times with those initiations. Remzi had a very strong performance on the Rek'Sai. Is there anything else that jumped out of you from either team in that first game?
I think the prediction just kind of went down exactly like you could have expected it. Rogers played a better game. I mean, there really isn't much you can comment on here. We definitely saw a lot out of Little Dookie. You got to give him credit, especially for what was going on around him. Coach Maths, I don't know why you were feeding at the end there, buddy, but I probably would have been too, so I can't blame you too much, especially when you're just trying to carry your team and the Shem won't even ult you. Yeah, I feel like that's it. Although I got a game to go prepare for, so I hope Coach Steve is ready. We're going to go fuck up the Royal Wolves.
Yes, best of luck to you, and we will be taking a short break here. We will be back hopefully soon with the next game. Please stay tuned.